Part 2, Historical Perspective and Evolution of Emotional Intelligence. By Dr. Dennis V. Burke. Published by 4815 Publishers. Fluid Ideas. Major Models of Emotional Intelligence. Salovey and Mayer's Emotional Intelligence Model. Scholars such as Gardner, Sternberg, Thorndike, and Weschler have debated human intelligence. They have argued about valid measurements of intelligence and the nature of success and leadership. These scholars have produced ideas about the learnability and hereditary nature of leaders. Intelligence is not a new study, but, as we gain better understanding and insights into human psychology and the process of decision-making, an emotional framework for intelligence has evolved. Salovey and Mayer provided the framework and arguments for our current understanding of emotional intelligence, EQ. Salovey and Mayer argued that EQ skills are learnable and measurable. Therefore, the proponents of EQ theories now argue that EQ enables individuals to recognize, interpret, understand, and express emotion in oneself and across the dimensions of relationships. Many people believe that using EQ skills efficiently and effectively improves social interactions and professional relationships. Given this line of argument, EQ skill can affect organizational cultures. Understanding emotions. Early discussions about emotions in interpersonal exchanges described the concepts of emotions as disorganized thoughts and the loss of intellectual control. Emotional engagement at any level except a masterful indifference or righteous anger was considered as a display of weakness and effeminate. This view of emotion was primarily the resultant dominance of masculine culture. Those first-century ideas about emotions contradict modern ideas of emotions as motivating factors in adaptive cognitive decision-making. Salovey and Mayer defined emotions as an innate response to stimuli that produce responses across psychological, physiological, experiential, cognitive, and motivational systems and subsystems within an individual. We are now learning that instead of emotions being innate responses, they are construction born out of experiences and conditioning. Emotions are the qualitative interpretations of human experience. People construct their emotions from the framework of their references. The references are the aggregate experiences, social norms, shared values, and beliefs that form the expectations. Emotions represent the understanding that people have about how they should behave within specific situation. Salovey and Mayer seem to have integrated Weschler's concept of intelligence with Thorndike's concept of social intelligence to produce their EQ theory. Weschler defined intelligence as a person's collective capacity that enables him or her to coherently think and respond to stimuli within the environment. Thorndike argued that social intelligence represents a distinct set of skills and is necessary for understanding self and others, and in the effective leadership of people. Therefore, intelligence within the Salovey and Mayer EQ framework is, by definition, a separate capability comparable to abstract and mechanical intelligence. Salovey and Mayer defined EQ as the underlying component of social intelligence that enables the self-monitoring of emotions, the monitoring of emotions in others, and the skill to choose responses to the emotional cues. In the Salovey and Mayer EQ model, there are two distinct buckets of skill sets. The first bucket is intrapersonal and the second is interpersonal. The model has been expanded to include a four-branch model of EQ. Mayer, Caruso, and Salovey, 1999, defined the four-branch model of EQ as perceiving emotion, assimilating emotions, understanding emotions, and managing emotions. The core proposal is that emotionally intelligent people maintain awareness of their feelings and the feelings of others in relationships. Also, an EQ-competent person will use this information in decision-making to promote the general welfare and satisfactory interpersonal relationships. Conversely, people with low EQ skills may experience more frequent instances of antagonistic and unhealthy interpersonal challenges. A deficiency in emotional intelligence skills might produce issues of sociopathy. Goleman's emotional intelligence model. Goleman organized the Salovey and Mayer's model of EQ into four clusters with sub-level skills and popularized the concept. According to Goleman's model of EQ, the concept is viewable in two separate and interrelated segments. The two segments are intrapersonal skills and interpersonal skills. The intrapersonal component includes self-awareness and self-management. The interpersonal component includes social awareness and relationship management. Goleman argued that EQ abilities are important in management and making leadership decisions. Researchers in EQ studies consistently demonstrate the inherent validity of the relationship between EQ and job performance. Conversely, Researchers like Janis, Eckstein, Goleman, and Weisberg have found that less than 8% of leadership success results from cognitive intelligence. And others argue that intuitive decision-making reinforces EQ skills. Logically, managers possessing high social awareness and relationship management skills are adept at customer service and managing conflicts. An important component of Goleman's argument is the idea that EQ skills are learnable. Goleman, Mayer, and Salovey believe that people can develop EQ skills. According to Goleman, EQ skills are job-related skills that enhance self-management, a foundational requirement in the mastery of relationship management. In Goleman's framework of emotional competencies, there are 4 domains and 20 competencies. The EQ domains in Goleman's model are self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. Self-awareness and self-management are personal abilities, while social awareness and relationship management are social abilities. Self-awareness includes emotional self-awareness, accurate self-assessment, and self-confidence. The sublevels in self-management are self-control, trustworthiness, conscientiousness, adaptability, achievement, drive, and initiative. The sublevels in social awareness are empathy, service orientation, and organizational awareness. In the relationship management domain, the sublevels are developing others, influence, communication, conflict management, leadership, change catalyst, building bonds, and teamwork and collaboration. While the EQ constructs are independently measurable skills with identifiable outcomes, examining them in their clusters is more efficient, and together they enable better performance in individuals. Baron's emotional intelligence model. Baron's model of EQ describes the concept as including a group of interrelated emotional and social skills that produce intelligent behavior. According to Baron, the theories and practices in EQ and positive psychology overlap in multiple areas. The conceptual overlaps are evident in Darwin's 1872-1965 work on the role of emotional expression, Maslow's 1950 studies in self-actualization, and in Mayer and Salovey's 1990 and Goleman's 1995 EQ-related studies. Baron's model of EQ reflects the link between the inherent humanistic psychology concepts of optimal adaptation and EQ focus on emotional awareness and emotional expressions. According to Baron, the first area of priority in positive psychology studies addresses self-regard and self-acceptance. In EQ terms, this translates to self-awareness. The second area is the ability to understand the feelings of others. This represents social awareness and empathy in EQ terms. The third area of concentration is the capacity for interpersonal interactions. This translates to social competence in EQ. Baron's model of EQ emphasizes compassion, responsibility, cooperation, and teamwork in the final area of positive psychology. Within EQ terms, this area of priority represents emotional self-control. Baron argued that EQ competencies influence human performance, emotional and psychological health, and transcendental search for purpose. Baron concludes that there is a significant relationship between EQ and academic performance with correlation coefficients ranging from 0.41 to 0.45. Also, the results of his studies identified EQ as influencing the ability to manage emotions and stress, clarify perspectives, solve interpersonal and intrapersonal problems, and drive motivation. Baron argued that EQ correlates with occupational performance in multiple studies with predictive validity coefficients of 0.55 and 0.22. The results are supported by the results of studies by Brackett and Salovey. Using a sample of 51,623 participants from multi-health system, Baron examined the relationship between happiness using the Baron EQI happiness scale and EQ using the Baron EQI. Based on the results of the study, Baron concluded that there are strong associations between the concepts with a demonstrated correlation of 0.78, revealing a 60% overlap between the happiness domains in EQ and positive psychology. The takeaway of the Baron model is that EQ skills improve the sense of personal well-being, promotes self-awareness, accurate and positive self-regard, self-actualization, and efficient reality testing. Also, personal performance, happiness, well-being, and the pursuit of a meaningful life are critical areas of concern in positive psychology. These human activities have demonstrable relationships in EQ competency areas. Baron's EQ model lists the following 6 factors that demonstrate concept overlaps: self-awareness, positive social interaction, emotional management, and control, effective problem solving and decision making, self-determination, and optimism. Here EQ is defined as a trait-based skill that improves managers' ability to learn valuable social skills. EQ skill has broad implications in many areas of social and professional life. Tabatabai, Jashani, Mataji, and Uthsar measured EQ using the Bar-on inventory that included 5 scales and 15 subscales. Self-efficacy inventory produced a Cronbach alpha of 0.86. The results of the study identified a significant and positive relationship between emotional intelligence and self-efficacy, R equals 0.78. They concluded that EQ was predictable by age, sex, education, marital status, payment, and self-efficacy. Resurrección, Salguero, and Ruiz Aranda completed an analysis of 32 EQ studies and concluded that EQ produced strong evidence of the association between EQ, lower psychological maladjustment, and better psychological health in adults. According to Bar-on, the Encyclopedia of Applied Psychology lists Mayer and Salovey, 1997, Goleman, 1998, and Bar-on, 1997, EQ models as 3 significant schools in EQ studies. However, the Mayer and Salovey 1998 model provided the functional premise that undergirds both Goleman and Bar-on's models of EQ. Mayer and Salovey defined the concept of EQ. Goleman promoted the application of the idea as it relates to organizational development and performance. Bar-on interpreted EQ as it applied to theories of psychological health and theories of personality. Goleman's application of EQ to organizational development and performance provides the stimulus for many research and exploration in the specific applicability of the EQ concept to leadership impact on organizational development. Next we will explore the theoretical relationships between emotional intelligence and the following: leadership and organizational culture, organizational culture and job satisfaction and turnover, and explore EQ assessment instruments.